Good morning, students. Welcome back to our civics lecture. Students, today we are going to start a new chapter in civics, that is, chapter number 6, Directive Principles of State Policy and Fundamental Duties. So, everyone, open your civics textbook, page number 83. So, students, let's start with the introduction first. In the last two chapters, we have studied the fundamental rights, right, guaranteed by our constitution. So, we learned what rights Indian citizens enjoy in those two chapters. So, can you tell me what are those rights? Yes, those are right against equality, right to liberty, right against exploitation, freedom of religion, and cultural and educational rights. Right? This we have learned in our previous two chapters. So, children, we shall now understand what are the directive principles of the state policy in today's chapter. So, let's start with the first paragraph of this chapter. Fundamental rights put restrictions on the power of the government. A few such restrictions upon the state are listed below. So, here are some restrictions which I am going to read now. State shall not discriminate between and among citizens on the basis of caste, religion, race, language, or sex. State shall not deny anybody equality before the law and equal protection of the law. No person shall be deprived of his life. And the last one, state shall not impose any religious taxes. Now, children, see the explanation of this restriction one by one. So, there should be no discrimination on the basis of caste. That means people of all religion are considered equal, treated equal. So, there should be no discrimination among the citizens. Means citizens should not be distinguished on the basis of caste. Because of this, what happened? People from different religion live together in India happily, right? If there will be no discrimination, people from all the religion live together in India happily. Then in second restriction, we have seen that all the citizens get equal protection of the law and citizens are equal in front of law, right? We all are equal in front of law. Then there are some rights which are get from our birth. Okay, so everybody, children, is free to live their own life. No person shall be deprived of his life. Then we have seen that state should not put religious taxes on any people, right? This person belong to particular religion, this person belong to so and so religion. So, the state should not put any religious taxes on any citizen. So, there are the restriction put on our state, right? these are some restrictions which are put on our state. Understood? Now we are going to see what are the directive principles. Let's see. The Constitution has given express instruction to the state about what policies it should undertake. This in the nature of giving directives or guidelines about how to achieve the goals expressed in the preamble. Hence, they are called as directive principles of state policy. Now see children, what do you mean by directive principles of state policy? Some objectives are stated in the preamble and how to achieve this goal, that guidelines uses by the Constitution, that known as directive principles. Okay? See once again children, guidelines which are uses by the Constitution how to achieve this goal, right? Why guidelines are uses by Constitution? To achieve the goal, to see to how to achieve the guidelines, right? How to achieve the goals. So for that, guidelines are uses by the Constitution. That guidelines children are known as directive principles of state policy. So children, directive principles include promote welfare of the people. What it include? It always work for the welfare of the people and to transform India into a developed and progressive nation. That was the aim of directive principles. Can you understood? What do you mean by directive principles? It is the guidelines which are used by the Constitution to achieve a goal that are known as directive principles. Now we are going to see some important directive principles of state policy. Let's see which are these important directive principles. First one, the state should secure adequate means of livelihood to all citizens without any gender discrimination. Second, the state should secure equal pay for equal work for both men and women. The state should secure the improvement of public health. Next one, the state shall endeavor means try to work hard to protect and improve the environment and safeguard the forest and wildlife of the country. Next one, the state shall protect all monuments of historic interest and national importance. Next, the state shall promote with special care the educational and economic interest of the weaker section of the people, especially the scheduled caste and scheduled tribes. So children, these are some important directive principles. Now see this one by one. Okay, I will explain you. In first important directive principle, we have seen that now all citizens should get enough sufficient means of livelihood, right? Nowadays all citizens, right, each and every human being should get sufficient means of livelihood, means the way you earn money. So all the resources, the way the person earn money, okay, so the state has to secure all these sources, that means livelihood for all the citizens without any discrimination. Means if there will be no discrimination among citizens, then what happened? Each and every citizen, every person will earn their livelihood. They earn their money. Okay, children? Now, in next important directive principle, we have seen that there shall be equal pay for equal work for both men and women. For example, children, we have seen that in some companies, in corporate sectors, or in some factories, both men and women are working together. Have you seen? Yes. So, there are some industries or some sectors where both men and women are working together. But in some cases, what happened? Men is getting higher salary and woman is getting lower salary. So, children, is it right? No, it is not right. So, there should be equal pay for both men and women. Why? Because they are doing same job. Both are doing the same job. So, here in this case, there should be no discrimination on the basis of salary for man and woman. Both should pay equal salary. Understood? In third important directive principle, we have seen that the state has to work hard to protect and improve our environment. Right? Because nowadays, children, lots of construction activities are going on. Right? For that, what's going on? Forest areas are being cutting down. Have you seen? Na? Because of construction, what we are doing, we human beings are doing, we are cutting down the forest areas. Okay? But the forest should be protected, and also the wildlife of the country, right? Because forest is the only place for the wildlife. It is the habitat for them. So, we should protect the wildlife of our country also. We know that, children, it is an important natural resource, right? Forest is an important natural resource. Many things we obtain from forest, right? So, the state should work hard to protect and improve environment as well as wildlife of our country. Then, in next important directive principle, we have seen that monuments, right? What is monument, children? We have learned in the first chapter of our history. It is a sources of history, right? Material source. So, all the monuments, children, which have historical background, right? For example, Red Fort, right? So, these all are the historical background. These all are the monuments which have historical background. So, this historical background monuments, children, should be protected by the state for national importance, because they are important for the nation, right? These monuments, children, they are important for the nation, right? So, it is a duty of the state to protect these monuments also. Then, we have seen in the last important directive principle that nowadays, children, what is going on? The weaker section of the society, right? Who is weaker section of society, children? Yes, weaker section of society means economically backward classes, right? Those classes which are economically backward. For example, scheduled caste, scheduled tribes, right? So, what happened? For the upliftment of this weaker section, the state should provide the education and economic facilities to them, right? And especially for scheduled caste and scheduled tribes. Because nowadays, children, these backward classes, this weaker section, they these children, they are deprived of education. They are not able to get education. So it is a duty of a state that this weaker section of the society should get education, and with the help of education they should also get all the economic facilities, right, which the general public is getting. These same facilities should be provided to this weaker section also, because they are also the citizen of India, right? So these all facilities, educations and economic facilities should be provided to them, especially to whom, children? Yes, to weaker section like tribes and social caste, right? Scheduled caste and scheduled tribes. Okay, children. So these are the important directive principles of state policy. Now let's see the next paragraph. Directive principles of state policy and fundamental rights are two sides of the same coin. Due to fundamental rights, citizens get the most needed liberty, while directive principles of state policy create an atmosphere conducive to the growth of democracy. Now see, children, the explanation of this paragraph. Directive principle of state policy and fundamental right. These two, children, these are the two sides of a same coin. Means we cannot separate these two, because both are the two sides of same coin. What does fundamental right give us, children? Can you tell me? Yes, it gives us all the freedom of liberty which we needed, right? We need the freedom, na? So this all freedom are given by us by fundamental right. And what does directive principle of state policy give us? It creates an atmosphere conducive to the growth of democracy, right? What directive principle is doing, children? It is creating an atmosphere conducive to the growth of our democracy. Means the matter which we have adapted for our administrating our country, right? For administrating our country, whatever we have adapted, it is the government of the people and by the people. The rule of people are very important, right? In each and every case, children, the role of people is very important in democracy. So this democracy creating our atmosphere conducive to the growth of democracy is this right is given us by whom? By directive principle, right? Whereas fundamental right, it gives us the freedom of liberty, right, children? So further growth of democracy, directive principle create an atmosphere conducive. For further, if we want our democracy to be growth, okay, to grow. So what directive principle is doing? It is creating an atmosphere conducive. While as fundamental rights give us liberty. That's why, children, we say that directive principle of state policy and fundamental rights, these are the two sides of the same coin. Okay, children? So, let's see what we have learned today. So, children, today we have learned about the meaning of directive principles. Then we have learned about some restriction put by the government on our state. Then we have learned about some important directive principles of our state policy. In that we have learned that there should be no gender discrimination, man and woman should pay equal, right? There should be an improvement in environment, and forest and wildlife should be protected by our country, right? All monuments should be protected by the state. And we have seen that the weaker section of the society, especially the scheduled caste and scheduled tribes, they should promote with special care. Special facilities, care should be given to them. And last, we have seen that both directive principles of state policy and fundamental rights, these are the two sides of the same coin, because both of them are providing something to the people. One for the freedom of liberty, and second is providing the atmosphere conducive for the democracy, for the growth of a democracy. Okay, children? So I hope you all have understood this part 1 of our 6th chapter. Tomorrow, children, we are going to continue with this chapter once again. Okay? So till then, watch the video and take care. Thank you.